Alright, so now we can start working on our arms. By this point, we should have finished our 2 ears, the outer ear and the inner ear, and attach them together. So now we can get started on our arms. And this is how you want your loom set up. You just want to have the center bar pin taken out, and then you just really need 2 of the holders just to hold your bar pins together. So this is really how we're going to need our loom for the rest of the time. We are going to need a little bit more space in between for the actual body, but I'll switch that out later. And so let's start with the arms. You're going to need to make 2. You can fit 2 on your loom, and it grows up. Usually I do my 3D designs going down just because I like how it looks with the, I guess, the braided look as opposed to, I don't know, it just looks different when you go up and when you go down. They both look different. So, but since this design has the fur on it, it kind of covers that up. So I'm just doing a growing up design on these, and so you can have, even if your extender thing is in the way and it's not, I guess, basically you don't really need this empty spot here. Duh. I'm just so used to doing it going down. But anyways, I would suggest that you make both arms at the same time, just after you complete one set, like one step for the first arm, you know, just do the same exact thing for the second arm so you don't lose track of where you are in the arms. Just do them both at the same time. That way you can just get it out of the way. So, but I'm only going to be making one because I've already made one. So this is what our arm looks like. Just like a furry little chicken leg or something. I don't know. So just get your loom set up. Make sure the openings of your pins are facing this way towards the right. And we're going to start. So again, we're going to be needing to add our fur to the whole entire thing. So we'll take our 2 bands, wrap it around our hook once. And our first band that we're placing is going to be a double looped band. So I'll take my band, double loop it, pull these fur bands onto my double looped bands, and I'm just going to pick a spot on here, and I want to cross these. So just like that. Now I'm going to place 2 more going down. So I've got my 2 bands. These are double bands, not the double looped here. So that. And then I'm going to cross these. So do a figure 8. Like that. We're going to go down again one more time. And if you need to pause this to catch up so you can make your 2 arms, feel free to do that. Alright, so we have 2 going across, going down, and then we want to put the next one going this way. So we're just making a square. So this next band is going to be a double looped band. So our double loop bands are going to be on these outer ones only for the arm. And then we need to do our figure 8 just for this row here. Okay, and then we just need to go up with 2 bands. So wrap it around, grab my 2 bands, pull it on, do my figure 8, and I'll do that again. Like that. Now we need to do X's. So I've got my 2 bands, wrap them around my hook. Maybe. That's trying to be difficult, but for some reason I'm having problems. We take one single band and double loop it. So the X's across are going to be double looped bands. And they also need to be in figure eights. Double loop. So I did one X. I'm going to do the next one going down. Just like that. Push your bands down as far as you can get them down, because now we have to lay a regular row across these. So, and keep going with your fur. So again, we're doing our double loop band to go from this pig to this pig, and this time they do not need to be in a figure eight. We're just laying them on. Now we're going back to our double bands, so take your two bands, go down, and again. Now this is a double loop band. They're going back to our double bands. And for the arms and the legs, we don't need to stuff these because they're small enough that they don't need stuffing. Okay, so this is what we have on our loom now, and what we need to do is flip the bottom bands so that we end up with 4 on top. So on our first pig here, I'm going to flip my my bands that were in the figure 8, and then I'm going to flip the bottom. So now I have 4 bands left. So you just want to do that all the way around. Trying to figure out like what's the easiest way for me to hold this so that I can see it but still be on camera. Sometimes it's easier just to flip your figure 8 bands and then flip the 4 underneath it. Okay, so push that down. So you should have 4 bands left on each of the pegs. Okay, so we need to do 3 more rows around, just regular rows around. Again, our these bands that are going to go across here and across here are going to be double looped. So we're going to repeat this 3 times. And these are just regular 2 bands here. Two bands here. double looped. Here. Two bands here. Two here. And then we just need to flip the bottom 4. Okay, push that down. We need to do 2 more rows just like this. And make sure after you finish each row that you are doing the same exact thing on your second leg if you're doing them both at the same time, or arm. We're working on the arms. So that's why I'm just kind of telling you that we're doing 3 rows around, because you can just pause the video and go at your own pace. That way you're not having to pause the video after each row that I do to catch up. So that was a double loop band going from here to here, and then these are double bands here. Oops. Double looped there. Back to the regular double bands here. And then flip your bottom 4. So this was our second time around, and we need to do 1 more before we do a small decrease. Now, it's probably not going to grow up really, but you can try and push it up a little bit, but it'll probably just pop back down. Once we do the decrease, you can pop it up. So my double looped. Regular. Regular. This one's going to be double looped. This one's going to be regular. And regular. Okay, I'm going to flip the bottom 4. I'm going to have to keep my loom like this because that's easier for me to see what I'm doing. Okay, push that down. Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, you should be able to push it up. Just don't let the bands pop off the pins. So just do it carefully. And if it's not going, then just wait for a little bit. Okay, so now we need to do a decrease on the corner. So we're gonna decrease this top corner and then this bottom corner here. And so what I do is just pick up all of the bands on this top corner pin and bring it down one. And then I'm going to flip the bottom 4 over that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to move these bands to this pin up. So just make sure you get all of your bands on the pin and then flip the bottom 4. Okay, push down. And then now we just have this really small area to work in, and we're not going to be doing double loop bands anymore, just regular ones. So we need to do 7 rows around in this little area here. So make sure you keep count. If you're not following along with me, just make sure you don't lose count of how many you've done. So the first couple rows, it's going to be a little bit squishy because your little nub of an arm is going to be in the way. Just kind of push it out of the way. Okay, so you've got that, and now we're just going to flip the bottom 4. Push down. So that was row 1. I'm going to mark it off with a band just so I don't lose count myself. I'm going to go around again 6 more times. So this design can get a bit repetitive. But in the end, you'll end up with a cute little bunny. Yeah, this tutorial was supposed to be like done during Easter time, but I just did not complete it in time. So here we are, like a month and a half later almost by the time this is out. Okay, so we're gonna flip the bottom 4 again, and I'm sorry if like this is awkward for me. I'm not as graceful as like Ellen from Crafting Fantastic. Push that down. Pull up a little bit. Mark off your row. So that was 2. Still gotta do 5 more. Should get a little bit easier to place your bands. Your arm shouldn't be in the way as much now. I wonder what this bunny would look like without any hair, without any fur. Okay, now flip your bottom 4. And make sure you're not flipping your little hairs or that they're not getting stuck in the pins. Okay, so that was 3. It's not really that big of a problem since we're wrapping them like around our hook. But when you use just regular bands without wrapping them, they're longer and they get caught into your design. Okay, I'm gonna flip them. Bottom 4. Okay, moon. Oh. Push down. Mark off your row. That was 4. We need to do 3 more. Gosh, this chair is horrible. By the time we're finished with this, you guys should be a pro at adding fur. Right, so flip your bottom 4. Push down, mark off, 2 more rows, your bottom 4. Push down, and we've got 1 more row to do. I wish I could listen to music while I'm doing this. I think I'd get in trouble though from YouTube, I don't know. I'd have to like listen to their free music or something, which I don't want to. Everybody uses the same. There's like thousands of music that you can choose from, but everybody seems to use the same little tunes, especially like when you watch those toy reviews. Okay, so flip the bottom 4. I know that because my kids watch love surprise, like egg videos and Kinder and toy reviews. Alright, so that was our last row around. So hopefully you guys did both of yours at the same time. If not, it's okay. You can pause the video and do your second one. But let's close this up and then we can pull the little hairs out after. So I'm just going to start with this pin here and just stick my hook in there and take it off the pin. Make sure you've got all 4 loops on your hook. I hold down these bands with my fingers just to make sure it doesn't pop off. So then I'm going to go into the next one right next to it, and I'm going to slide these 4 bands through this one here, through these 4. Except I got more than that, so just like that. Now I'll go over to here, the right, take it off the hook. Slide these bands through these bands. And then I'll go to the last one here, pick it up. I'll just keep that on my hook and then I'll take 2 bands and then slide them through these bands on my hook, reclaim, and do a slip knot. And then we can hide that into the arm. But first I'm going to pull out some of these little furs because they get sucked in there. So just take your hook and go all the way around and fix it up the way you want it to look, so it looks a little furry. And don't forget the top too, where we started. I like this part for some reason. Getting the little furs out. One thing I wish when you're making like furry Rainbow Loom projects is that you wouldn't have like these empty naked areas, but I don't know how you would remedy that. I guess you could like add in your own fur, but then that would take way long to do. Alright, so that's good enough for now. I'll probably, you know, fluff it up a little more later when I'm finished. So you got your arms, either one arm or 2, go in through somewhere in your arm to pull this tying off band through. Be careful not to snap the bands, because I have done that plenty of times. And I always get caught on other bands too. Come on, get in there. Okay. And stretch it out a little bit if you want. Okay. So 2 arms. Now we can start working on the legs. And then the body. Yay. Alright, so let's do the legs. Okie dokie, so for the legs, This time I'm just facing my loom going this way just because it's easier for me to film it like this rather than like this. But I mean, you can do it either way you want. Just make sure that if you're filming it, I mean, if you're not filming, if you're doing it this way, just make sure your openings are facing to your right. And if you're placing your bands this way, just make sure their openings are facing towards you. And I have tied down, I have secured down my pins because I think some of these are older pins, and so they're starting to, the hold on the extenders isn't that great, so it just works for me to do it like this. So again, for the legs, just like the arms, you can make two because there is space to make two. I'm just going to be making one because I already made one leg, and this is what we're doing here. So this is the leg, and there is a difference. As you can see, this is the arm, a lot skinnier than the leg. So let's start with that. Okay, so my first band, again, we're going to be doing our fur. So my first band is going to be a double looped band. Going to place it. Now if, oh wait, I'm supposed to, forgot. I need to do an 8 figure. So if you're making 2 at a time, for each leg we're using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to make sure that you've got, so if you're making 2 legs, you're going to need 10 bar pins. So just make sure that you're starting further up than I am. Just so that you have space to make both of them at the same time. Okay, so our first one was double looped. This one is also, oops. This one's also going to be double looped, and we need to do the figure 8. So going down, so figure 8. Now we're just doing regular 2 bands. Going down in the figure 8. So that's 1, 2, okay. One more with the 2 bands in the figure 8. And then our next one down is going to be a double looped band. Okay. We're going to repeat the same thing. So going across here, we're going to put a double looped band. In the figure 8. Going up is going to be a double looped band. In the figure 8. This next one is going to be 2 bands. Figure 8. Next one is going to be 2 bands. And then the last one here is going to be a double looped. Double looped. Figure 8. Now we need to make our X's. So our first X is going to be double looped bands. And we need to do our figure 8 Technically, I don't even know if we need to do a figure 8 because we have the wrap bands on them, but just to be safe. So another double looped going this way. Okay, so our next X is going to be double bands in the figure 8. Next one is going to be double bands in the figure 8. Oops. Okay, and our last X will be double looped bands. Just make sure if you're making 2 at the same time that you're doing the same process for each row, for both of them. Okay, now you want to push your bands down as much as you can because we need to add our top layer. These ones will not be in the figure 8, but they will follow the same pattern with the double looped bands. So this one's a double looped band going across. And then the one going down is also going to be a double looped band. Okay, and then the next 2 going down are going to be double bands. Again, the double. And the one going down will be a double looped. Oh gosh, I'm getting hungry. It's lunchtime. I'm trying to get as much of this done before my son comes home from school. And then I'll pick up again at night. Okay, so this one's a double looped. Now the next one going up is going to be a double looped. Next one is going to be a double band. Two bands. Next one, 2 bands. And the last one will be a double looped. Alright, so now we need to flip over our bottom so that we end up with 4 on the top only. Okay, so this first one here, we have to flip over our figure 8 bands. And then there's 2 more that we need to flip over. So now we have 4 left. This next one, I'm going to flip over my double 8 figure 8 bands, the ones that I twisted in the beginning. And then I've got 4 to flip over. Same thing with this next one, figure 8 bands, and then 4 bands. This next one, figure 8, just 1 and 2, and then 4 bands. This next one will just be figure 8, and then 2 bands. This side, figure 8 and 2 bands. This one here, figure 8 and 4 bands. This one here, figure 8, 4 bands. Figure 8 here. I can just grab those. Anyways, figure 8 and then 4 bands on this one. And then this one will be the figure 8 and then 2. Right, so we're left with 4 bands on each of our pins. So we can push that down. Did I do 4 or 3 rows around? I think 4. Okay, so we need to do 3 more rows around. Hopefully that's right. Let's see. That says 4, but then I have 3 marks. Me and my notes. So it happens when I try to watch TV and do this at the same time. Try to multitask. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 more rows around. So again, we're keeping with our double loops on these pins here, and then the first pins towards the end. And these are just going straight across, no need to do your figure 8 anymore. So that was a double looped. This is also a double looped going down. Okay, this next one is a regular 2 bands. Next one going down is a regular 2 bands. Next one going down is a double looped. Get out of the way. Okay, going across, those are double looped. I really hope this is right because I don't want to end up with one longer arm, although you probably wouldn't even be able to tell. Next one going up, it's going to be a double looped. Oh. Next one going up is a double band. Next one up is a double band. It's weird because I ordered these bands look like they're about to fall apart at any minute now, like they're old or something. I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case. Okay, next one up is a double looped. Hopefully you guys get the pattern by now. Okay, now we're going to flip over the bottom 4 now. Okay, push down. Let's do 2 more rows like this. Oh, my foot is falling. Double looped here. Double looped down. Double band down. Two bands down. Double looped. This is fun, right guys? At least it only takes 1 loom for this part, so that if you like want to switch to another project, use, like if you have more than 1 loom, you could just keep it on there and let it sit. I do that all the time. Always start like multiple projects. Well, I am getting better now. I used to start like tons of different projects and then like put them aside, and then I wouldn't get back to them for a long time. I still have some that I've started like a year ago that are just taking up space. Okay, I didn't say like where we did the double loop bands and the double bands because it's just a pattern like for this whole section, but just in case. I did the double loops across, double loop down, 2 regular down, double loop down, double looped across, double looped up, 2 regulars here, and double looped up. Okay, flip your bottom 4. Okay, push down. Okay, so we need to do 2 more rows around. Don't worry about this if it's not like, if you can't get it to pop up, it's not going to for a little while. So let's keep going. I know this is a little grueling. That's why I have to watch TV when I do this, because 1, my time is so limited that I have to, like, if if I want to design something, I make sure that I also watch, like, catch up on my shows that I like, because I think I watch like maybe 10 different shows, so I have a lot of catching up to do. So I watch them while I loom, and then I also read at night. I have to read, so I read about maybe 2 or 3 books a week. And that's about it. That's my life, and my kids, and my husband. But that's the way I spend my free time. Looming and watching TV at the same time. And then read. Oh, and then I work too. I work from home. So if I'm not working or looming. Sounds fun, right? You guys are probably like, get a life. Okay, now flip the bottom 4. Oops. Push down, and we've got one more row like this, and then we have to do a decrease. So I'm trying to think, like, during all this silent time, like, what would be interesting to talk about, because, you know, it feels like I just talk about myself because I can't, like, have a conversation with anybody because there's nobody to tell me about themselves. So I don't know. I feel weird, like, talking about myself to the camera, but I have no idea what else to talk about. So let's see. My favorite books are horror books and mysteries and thrillers and like suspense, things like that. Those are my favorite books. And then some of my favorite shows are like Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead. I loved Sons of Anarchy when it was out. Now it's over. Let's see, what else do I love? Like Penny Dreadful, Orphan Black. All those fun shows. I also love scary movies. But I think that the scary movies they're making these days are horrible. I have such a hard time finding good scary movie. Or ones that I haven't seen yet. Okay. Oh, my back. Okay. Flip the bottom 4. I guess like I could do like start a new trend where I do like monologues and looming at the same time. That'd be fun, right? That'd be silly. Do like plays. I could read a book to you guys. Alright, so that was our last row around for this. I'm gonna see if I can push him up, his leg up a little bit. Come on, there we go. Just make sure you don't pop it off of your pins. Okay, so now we want to decrease the top and the bottom corners. Okay, so now at this point we want to decrease our top and our bottom corners of the leg. So we'll start with the left top corner, and then we'll also decrease this right bottom corner as well. So, and just pick up the bands on your top left corner and bring them down one pin, just like that, and then go ahead and flip over the bottom 4, push it down, and now we're going to decrease the bottom right corner, and we're going to bring it up to this pin here. So pick them all up, place them on your pin, and then flip the bottom 4. Okay, so now what we want to do is a row around, 2 rows around this, these pins that we have our bands on now. We're not doing the double looped bands anymore, so just all double bands. So today's a different day, and I've taken off my annoying glitter nail polish. Thank goodness, it was driving me crazy. So we're just going to go all the way around, and remember we need to do our fur. I'm stuck. And this little foot is going to be in the way for a little bit. And one more. Okay, so now let's flip the bottom 4. Or actually, it's gonna, yeah, 4. 4. Okay, go ahead and push that down. And we're going to do another row around. Just turning my loom so I can access this a little bit easier. Okay, and then we just need to flip the bottom 4. Okay, go ahead and push down. So we did our 2 rows around, and now we're going to want to decrease the other 2 corners. I'm just going to try to pull this up a little bit. So we need to now decrease the top right corner and the bottom left corner, and we're going to do it the same thing, the same way. We'll just pick up our bands on the top right corner, bring them down a pin, and flip the bottom 4. Push down. Go to your bottom left corner, pick them up, bring them up to the pin right above it, place them on the pin, and then flip over the bottom 4. There we go. Okay, push down. So now we're on 6 pins. And we need to go around, let's see, a total of 8 times. So let's start with that. So when you do this, make sure you're keeping count so you don't lose track, just like we did with the arms. Whoa, I hope you guys didn't hear that. That was my stomach growling really bad. I just got home from walking my son. I walk him to and from school every day, and I forgot to eat breakfast before I started filming this. I need to put one more. Okay, so now we need to flip the bottom 4. All the way around. Okay, push down, and then I'm going to mark this off as 1 row, so I'll just put a band there. So now we need to do 7 more. Oops. Let's knock that away. to finish filming this tutorial today. Just because I really want to see how he's going to come out. With the little changes that I made. Well, I guess it's a she because it's pink, right? So. One more. Okay, flip the bottom 4. I think I need to move my camera up a little bit just because it's kind of close to me. Ugh. Push down. Try to pull this up a little bit. Okay, so that was 2. Let's continue on. Should be getting a little bit easier without your foot in the way to place your bands on the loom. And that will make it go by a little bit faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip the bottom 4. Push down. Mark it off. 5 more rows. I think this part, like making the legs and the arms and the ears and stuff like that, I think those are the most grueling parts of this bunny. Just because it's so repetitive. And you have to make 2 of each. Oh, my neighbors. Okay, go ahead and flip the bottom 4. Neighbors upstairs are loud. push down. Okay, so that was 4, and we have 4 more to do. Okay, let's start with row 5. I had to pause the video and eat a granola bar, otherwise you guys would have to sit here and listen to like a symphony of my growling stomach, and it's not a pretty sound. So do any of you guys do like other crafts besides Rainbow Loom? I know there's no way of you answering me. But, well, I guess you could answer in my comments. But, like, for me, I'm like, I love Rainbow Loom, but I also like to try different new crafts. So, when I started the Loomigurumi stuff, okay, now we're going to flip the bottom 4. When I started the Loomigurumi stuff, it's, you know, just basically crocheting with bands. And there's, like, so once I got the hang of that, I went out and bought some yarn and learned how to crochet with the yarn, and you can make like adorable stuffed animals and stuff like that. So like, I enjoy doing that, but I don't really have time to do it as much as I'd like to. Okay, push down, and we're gonna mark this row off. But then the other day well, I mean, I've been wanting to do polymer clay for a long time, just because there's so many adorable little charms that you can make. But I don't know, I guess I have to save up my money to start a new hobby. I mean, I'll stick with Rainbow Loom, of course, still, just because I like it and I think I'll be doing it for a while. But I always like to experiment with different new crafts, and polymer clay looks fun. And I think it would be fun to have like a little Etsy shop to sell like little polymer clay charms and some amigurumi, like adorable kawaii keychains and stuff like that. So I think that will be my next project, is to try out polymer clay. Alright, so let's flip the bottom 4. I go back and forth with crafting. I think this is the longest one that I've stuck with, because I used to make beaded bracelets, and I still do, like if I have like special orders and stuff like that, because I have an Etsy shop for my bracelets that I sell. That I've had that shop for a while. Okay, so that was row 6. So 2 more rows. But I've got so many beads and so much leather and thread and all that, because I do like the beaded leather wrap bracelets. And I did that for a while, but I've just kind of taken a break from it because I enjoy looming a lot more. But I need to use up all my beads because I have a ton and they're just going to waste. And I don't like to make bracelets on Rainbow Loom really, so I can't use them there. It's not that I don't like making bracelets, it's just I'm not very good at it. Like, some people are awesome at picking like great color combos and taking the time and blinging their bracelets, which takes forever. And I just can't.
like you have two categories of people in Rainbow Loom. You have the bracelet makers, and then you have like the charm and animals and all that stuff. Okay, so now we're gonna flip the bottom 4. Push that down, and we have 1 more row. So mark that off, and then we'll do our last row here. My nose is all runny today. I have like allergies or something. Once we're done with this leg, we can start on the actual design of the bunny, which will be great. Okay, let's flip the bottom 4. These don't want to go over all the way. Alright, push that down. And now we can close this up, and we're going to do it the same way that we did the arm. So we're going to start with the top right pin. So I'll stick my hook in there, pick up all those bands, take them off the pin. I'm going to go over to my next pin over on the left, and then slide these 4 bands through these. So if you're afraid that you're going to lose your bands, just, you know, kind of put your fingers like near your hook and try to maneuver them through with your fingers. That way, like, you're not just, I don't know, that way you don't really risk losing any of your bands. Okay, and then also I would recommend that you hold down your bands on the other pins so they don't come off while you're doing this. So now I'm going to go over to my left and slide those through. I'm going to go over to my right, slide those through. I'm going to go over to my left, slide those through, maybe. And then I'm going to pick up the bands on this pin here. My loom just fell apart. So now I have these 2 sets of bands on my hook, and I'm just going to take 2 pink bands or your body color bands and slide them through. And then just tie a slip knot. And we've got a leg. So what you want to do with this is the same thing that we did with the arms. You just want to untuck all of these little hairs, and there's a lot, so, and you've got to do 2 of them.
So just take your time, pull out all the little loops of fur. I think I'll go off camera and finish the rest of this, just because you guys, I'm pretty sure you can do this on your own. So just continue pulling out all your hairs on both of your legs, and if you didn't make this two legs at the same time, both of them, then go ahead and just go back and make another leg. And then we can start on the body. So I haven't finished pulling out the hairs, but now you have two legs. Okay. So I will meet you guys back here in a minute when you guys are done pulling out your hairs and making your legs.